yeah, I think that might be for now. Otherwise, I'll do another type of breakdown for Hinekeira because that story is pretty hardcore. But Hinekeira is your innate, your adaptive immune system. Tumatoinga, your innate immune system. Attack fucking every fucking thing. If there's something that gets into your bloodstream that you don't know what it is, if you haven't taught your immune system will use everything it has against it, all the rocket launchers, all the bazookas, every fucking thing to get it out of there, and it ends up shooting the back wall as well as it's shooting that one little virus. It's shooting the whole back wall, which is inflammation. Just shot up your intestines, just shot up your blood vessels. Uh, any type of inflammation period in your body is you overdoing the job. You didn't have time to learn about it. Hinekeira will. Hinekeira will learn about the virus. Yeah. Where Tumatuinga just fights all the warriors, no, all the fucking most gangster warriors. They come to his rohe and challenge him, and fuck, he'll fight every motherfucker. But Hinekeira will actually, she's got access to everywhere in your body. She'll go everywhere. Now, if she hears that there's the most gangsterous parasite in your body, she'll go find it and she'll join it into the army. You know, and that parasite will go knocking on the doors, telling everyone to give back. You know? Becomes the ultra gangster that should be doing what gangsters are doing, not not passing sugar through the streets. Like when you become aware that there's creatures living inside of you, you become compassionate for them. You become, which is what Hinekeira is. You become considerate for them on how they like to live. Uh, like one example for that is our first intestine doesn't like. It's just heaps of acid. There's not too many creatures that live. There's still a whole gang, but not compared to every other intestine that can't handle that type of acidity. That first wants to break down bigger portions of food, but we don't want to water down that acid. We don't want to. We want that acid fucking hard out in that first intestine so it can do that second layer of breaking down. You've got the microbiome in your mouth. You should be crushing them fuck out the motherfucker first. Get them real small, the particles as small as you can, and then it gets into your first intestine, which can handle bigger amounts of food. Uh, but within your intestines, it should be like a coral reef, like just so many areas for creatures to live and hide, and then the different mucus layers, which are the different light, pressure, humidity that are in a food forest, the different layers. Uh, which is when you look into Te Mangumaku, like darkness actually radiates. So you have the shadows that are underneath the different strata, the different levels of trees and shit. They're making a shadow. That shadow is actually pushing the moisture into the plant, which is why a lot of mushrooms can only grow, especially the fucking mean medicinal mushrooms, can only grow in areas where the moisture is held there. They're held there from the different layers of shadow, especially if you got shadow. So, and big cultivation and propagation indoor plants, especially Colorado, the other fucking shit. Learn a lot from them. Growing organic cannabis indoors, which I don't do that shit. I don't grow indoors. But not anymore. Now that I realize the most gangsterness of the food forest and how everything operates and feeds each other and supports each other and catches each other. But so they're just imitating a forest, you know, when they're growing indoors like that. And how they grow indoors, they need a climate control. How do they do it properly? Uh, so you have the light, the temperature, the humidity, and then the pressure. You know, how you make the pressure. You have a room. So how they do it, they got a room inside another room inside another room. In that room in the middle, you change the light, humidity, and temperature. You can balance that around, and that creates pressure on that main room. But yeah, naturally, how you do that, you got to establish at least 7 layers, 7 essential layers, which are the same in your skin, which are the same in your puku. You can get more layers than that, but as soon as you got those 7 layers, you can walk away and it'll do its thing. Which is why agroforestry, it's fuck, it's all seven, 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 seven. 1 day a week For 7 years, you can walk away as long as you've established 7 layers, and they all start looking after each other, catching each other, and it turns into a rainforest. If a bunny rabbit comes and is eating too much, the rest of them talking through that net will release because there's communication happening. They're releasing pheromones that tell the bunny rabbit to chill out. If there's a weed that's taking over too much, ganking, um, extracting too much nutrients or creating too much mess, the rest of them release pheromones and they chill each other out. Buzzy shit. But yeah, they're all catching each other. This happens in our intestines as well. But as we become aware of the creatures inside of us, we start to have compassion for them. We start to have consideration for them in the way that we move and shit. And then when you realize that we're the only creature, and we've brainwashed other creatures that live with humans to do that also, we eat and drink at the same time. When you eat, you're diluting the acid in the first intestine, and the food, the bigger chunk, all the chunks of food should fall into the mucus layer, which is all those pressure, all the gravity and the light, the temperature, the humidity that in your coral reef has created all these layers of goo. And all the creatures that live inside you live within those pockets. A lot of them can't swim. They can't swim in H2O. No, H2O is not even the liquid that you have in your body right now. It's H3O2. To convert H2O into H3O2, you need minerals. You can get those minerals from like the plants that you eat, obviously, if you eat a diversity of plants. Otherwise, you can get the minerals through like rock salts and shit, or sea moss, any types of seaweed and shit too. But plants, the deeper the green, the more colorful they got more. The more deeper the color when you talk about berries and shit. But as we fuck should moldy biome, like fuck as I was coming out of this, I was fucking, it just fell at me at the same time, which is, mum obviously guided me to be looking in that direction, and I could just see it. And then I'm gardening at the same time, and I'm just seeing everywhere. Like, wow, what the fuck? For over a year, as I was learning, I was like paying to get into all the summits so I could listen to the top microbiome doctors around the world, and I just have it playing in the background, and it would just sound like some fucking out of it shit for everyone else, but for me, it was like, fuck. I could see the connections and everything. Just called me at the right time. But have consideration for them. So don't eat and drink at the same time. You want the food to rest for at least 10, 20 minutes in that layer so the creatures can come out and extract shit. And then when we're talking about sugar, like, which will be the crack that's flooding the streets. Instead of the gangsters going around and knocking on those doors, the parasites, the taniwha, telling everyone, fuck, you got to give back to the earth now. Now, who the fuck cares what the government says? You got to start giving back to the earth. Look after the earth. If you're not, you can get the fuck out. You're not even ahikomo, keeping the fire going, but you're not even a kaitiaki. You're not even tiaki. You should be looking after, you should be nurturing, you should be feeding the earth at the same time, realizing that she's giving to you nonstop, and then we can learn to give back. But yeah, so as we learn about sugar, fructose, which is in the fruit, glucose, which is in the veggies, I think. But they're just sugar molecules that have a layer. Oh, so if you pull it out the layer, they still call it fructose. So yeah, cack all that. So if you eat a strawberry, the sugar that's in the strawberry comes in a package. It's a defense fucking ball, a defense mechanism that helps the sugar get past the acids in your first intestine and down to your second, third, fourth intestine where all the creatures are living, and they love the sugar. They can do everything with the sugar. They can convert it to every fucking thing. They make these universities and biofilms, and they create fucking everything from the sugar and the fiber. In a brainwashed state, I had limiting beliefs, and I was teaching myself and believing limiting things. I thought that I put that knowledge out there to the world that we don't digest fiber, but in reality, just hoodwinked ourselves. We don't digest the fiber, but the billions of creatures that are inside you do digest the fiber. There's billions and billions of bacterial cells that are inside you moving around doing their thing. There's at least 10 times the amount of bacterial cells inside you as there are human cells. Proven. There's way more than that, but that's how, like, proven at least. And then top scientists today, top doctors today would agree on that at least. And then there's at least 10 times the amount of viruses as there are parasites. Oh. Bacterial cells. No? So there's fucking way more life inside you than there is not you. You just got armies inside you fucking doing their thing. So when you realize that they're in there, you start to talk to them nicely, you start to love them, you start to have consideration for how they live, example. But when we start cooking, like if you really want to fucking be healthy as shit, the higher you raise your vibration, they start to get louder, louder, louder. They're talking to you always anyway, but if we've numbed them out, if we've numbed them out by insecticides, pesticides, antibiotics, preservatives, then they're numb. Um, you don't hear them until they're fucking blowing buildings up and shit. When they're screaming at you, and that's when you're in hospital. Uh, Otherwise, if you're in communication with your body's in higher communication with the spiritual realm than most people's minds are, because their minds are busy talking to us always. So if you're in communication and you're listening to your body's talking to you always. And then you can start to bake. You can just use like dried fruits. You can use dates. This is the fucking shit. You can just soak the dates overnight, or you can just soak them in hot water, blend the motherfuckers up, and use that as a cooking substitute, or as a sweetening substitute. Same with any type. Any type of dried fruit, whether they're raisins or sultanas or apricots or pineapples. Like fuck, if you really want to amp the shit up, fucking dehydrated pineapple. Um, just being conscious of them, aware of them, loving them, talking to yourself nicely, Papatona is your body, your actual body. The more you love what you put into your body, she just heals naturally. And then you don't see your own shit as yuck anymore. People will use other creatures' caca unconsciously. They don't even know what the fucking animal's been eating. Insecticides, pesticides, antibiotics, all these type of injections and shit that the animals had, and then you eat their caca. Use their caca to grow your food, but you won't use your own caca. No? And then when you're loving what you put into yourself, your caca becomes fucking the most powerful, most magical substance there is, and then you want to give it back. There's a lot of berries out there that can't, which is why the most high vibrational food, they're calling out to you, please eat me, please eat me. They can't germinate without going through the intestine, without the acids taking over the first layer of the shell of the seed, and then when it goes into the earth, it fucking germinates. They need to be eaten. They're asking you, please, motherfucking eat me. Different layers of consciousness, different vibrations of kai. Eat the one that doesn't want to be eaten and it's screaming, please don't fucking eat me, or the one that's screaming, please, 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 please eat me. But yeah, Hinekeira, if you're going through the story, Hinekeira searches out the most gangsterous taniwha that there is, and it's all desolate and downtrodden and everything, which is created from monocropping. Monocropping is just having one type of plant which supports only like fucking very small amount of fungal life, and a very small amount of microbes underneath. All these types of microbes require diversity on top to be able to build a diverse net underneath. There's certain types of bacteria under the earth that can't exist without a creature, like a yellow flower, purple flower, different types of greens, different types of terpenes, which are the flavors, the colors, the flavonoids. But which is why you want all the diversity so you can support more life. There's certain creatures that won't grow their third leaf. No, there's certain plants that won't grow their third leaf, especially tropical plants, and there's certain plants that won't grow their ninth leaf. There's plants that won't grow their 13th leaf until there's the right creature. So say that there's plants out there that they'll just grow their two main leaves. As it comes up, the taproot goes down and that leaf goes up, and then the second leaf comes out. They will never grow their third until they meet their friend that's underneath. Like they're actually sending out some roots and signals. Is my mate out there? If the mate's not out there, they will abort. They are reliant on each other. So which is what this gardening channel is about, which is why I want to put the Hinekeira story out there. You need to protect the earth just the same way as when you protect your skin, you want your microvascular system, that net that helps the communication between all your pressure points, all your atua, you want that protected, just like you want the fungal life protected. If you're gardening, you should not have your plant and dirt. You're just broke down that net. When you do open it up, it's going to grow back quick as long as it stays moist and the sun doesn't get to it. So you chuck mulch, whether living mulch is best, but if you don't have mulch, just thick fucking black mulch. Black mulch is good. Even people are saying don't use fresh mulch because it pulls all the nitrogen up. Yeah, but it goes back down. Like, what the fuck? I've never had a bad thing with it. Like, fuck. Abundance. Living in abundance right now. If a tree falls down, fucking chop it up, mulch it up. Fuck, eat it pie. But yeah, where Tumatuinga won't go meet that taniwha Hinekeira wool, and that's resemblance of a human cell, which is the same as I experienced coming out of what I thought was te kore, that moke moke as you feel alone and you grab that dot, that whole vibration of not willing to let go. And if you think that there's something that's going to get you, if you think that there's something coming for you, if you think that there's some shady shit within you, if you if you think that there's no thing coming for you, if there's something, if you think that it's just you that exists and nothing else, if you feel that moke moke, that loneliness, you've just entrapped yourself. Which is why I'll pull out the story soon of Whaitua. So if you try to enslave Whaitua, so there's Te Mangumaku, the push, Mahoranui the pull, and then Whaitua. Whaitua is the sapphire, the skin that's around it. If you try it, she's like primal, unbounded energy. If you try to enslave her, like label her or condemn her or anything, she fucking wraps you up straight away. If you try and put rules on the way she lives or anything, those rules are your rules. You're trapped. If you try to enslave her, she enslaves you 100%. So, which is what happens in a cancer cell, which is the blindness. You can't see anymore. Everything that moves, you just feel it as kai. So you start eating it, and then that cancer cell, which is a human cell, which just feels alone, starts eating everything that moves, sees it as kai, but then it still feels itself dying. It feels mamai. So it sees the only way to survive is through its kids. So it just starts cloning itself. Our tupuna knew this shit. That's what the Hinekeira stories were about. Just start cloning itself, which is the tuma, getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Every clone of the original taniwha has the same affliction as it, so it just keeps getting bigger. They're both all blind. They're all hungry. They all eat everything that moves, and they're all not giving back because they're holding it. So proven now, microbiome doctors have proven they're even like pulling different microbes out the ice, soil out the ice, and packaging up. But that is going to food forests around the world, jungles that have diversity in the soil, putting it in pool form as the cure for cancer, and it's working. But as soon as you have diversity, so if you go into a healthy food forest and you pull out a plant, all those big shiny roots belong to that plant, but all those fluffy roots that go forever, little small fluffy roots that create that net, don't belong to that plant. That's mycelium. But the first one that grabs it, mycorrhizal fungi, it's like an alien, grabs it. And then that gives it access, gives that plant access to the net, and it gives it access to be able to get to more places and absorb more things and communicate with the other plants to be allowed in. Especially when it's a baby and the mycorrhizal fungi attaches to it and it nurtures the baby. It allows the baby into the other plant. Like there'll be borage, maybe borage is growing there, and borage is a musician. Kupa kupa, maybe kupa kupa's growing there, and kupa kupa's a musician. He's got all these types of instruments and shit. And then kupa kupa gets to know the baby at a young stage, so it allows the baby access to its instruments. Otherwise, if it doesn't know the baby and just a kid walks into its music room and starts pushing around the guitars and shit, it's gonna slap the fuck, get the fuck up. But if you got to know the baby, you're gonna teach the baby these are the rules, these are the boundaries as you enter my room. Okay, that's how it works, 100%. But so she goes and meets the taniwha, and as she's moving, she's throwing up all the dust and shit, but it's desolate. There's not much life there. It's just so much time of dropping antibiotics. Now, as you drop antibiotics in your intestine, it just fucking blows these motherfuckers to shit. But they all drop their spawn in the different crevices that are inside the um, uh, all the different holes, all the different houses that are in that coral reef. That's what I'm talking about. A healthy intestine has just got so many pockets of where, so many areas where creatures can live. But the more you drop the antibiotics, it just becomes all fucking like polished concrete. You put water on it, it just goes straight down instead of being so many areas for the water to go in and get caught and then turn into H3O2 crystalline form. But you want to, same thing as in the food forest, you want to slow it down. I could teach all these. I taught it in the food forest, which is why I'm so passionate about this shit. I want to bring this shit out now that I'm back up in this place. Now that I'm back in Tauturu and Tauwairu at the same time. And I appreciate whoever's got into this far in the video. Grachi, 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 ngā mihi, ngā mihi, ngā mihi. Iyo, iyo, e au. But, so, it's proven now that you can take microbe-rich soil that's got that network of at least 30 different plants, and you can fucking sniff it, and you can eat a little bit of it. And if you got cancer, all those creatures are talking to the cancer cells, but you got to do it a little bit daily. You can't just eat a whole fucking bunch of fucking dirt and think you're going to be sweet. You got to start adding that. You got to start building that net. But as soon as that happens, it talks to the cancer cell, and the cancer cell stops growing. Because it's like, fuck. Which is what the Hinekeira story is talking about, when she's flicking up the microbe-rich soil and then it's all desolate. So she's already been through the food forest that was created in Rongo Maraeroa from all the warriors that she freed. When all the warriors that she taught a different way. To go back into the Garden of Eden and witness that net. So she goes in there and she's got that net and she's got it in her kete and she grabs it out and she rubs it in the taniwha's face after the taniwha's getting tired from their battle. Back forward, back forward, back forward, and she's like, out the way, out the way, out the way, out the way, until it gets tired and she rubs it in its face. And then she starts talking to it. As the taniwha thought it was alone the whole time, it was blind, and then next thing it's like, fuck, I can feel the net. All these different creatures, and it's like, fuck, which is the same which I experienced. Before even knowing about that story, it was like, fucking, you can feel yourself catching yourself, and you're never, ever, ever, ever alone. You're never alone. You can't exist in Te Aotearoa without at least two perceptions. You're never alone. As soon as you see a dot, you got a perception of the dot, which creates the dot having a perception of you. As soon as you're the third one, straight away. Like, as soon as you become a witness of those two, you're the witness, you're the third. And then you can look every direction from that, which is those three kete. And then you just, at least straight away, there's 4 different ways to love yourself: your hinengaro, your tinana, your wairu, and your whānau, which is the ahikomo, which you needed to be able to move forward, back forward, all that type of shit. Like your mind, your body, your wairu is the water, which cools down the fire. Otherwise, the fire goes fucking too hardcore. The fire mounts the ice, or warms up the ice, warms up the water. Otherwise, it's just ice. And then as that confrontation is happening, which creates the air, the gases that comes off creates the air. As it keeps happening, it creates the sediment. Without that sediment, the clay falling, the earth, without the earth, it couldn't have held the water at all. They all need each other. They're fertilizing each other. Without the sediment, it could never actually spark the flame. It needed a little bit of carbon. So they're all existing at once, always. There's no beginning. There's no just you. There's an inner council inside you. Talk to yourself. Love yourself. The more you can surrender into yourself. Check if you have any questions, answers. Fucking grachi. Ngā mihi aroha iyo.